we should mention, the Queen, obviously the Queen of the United Kingdom. She's also the Queen of so many firsts. She has left her mark in so many unforgettable ways across the world. We're going to be speaking with, after this, our ABC News royalty consultant, Alistair Bruce, but in just a moment. But first, take a look at what the Queen of Firsts has done for so many generations. For 7 decades, she has made and witnessed history as the head of the royal family. In 2015, she became the longest reigning monarch in British history, outpacing her great-great-grandmother, Queen Victoria, and her 63 years of service on the throne. But Elizabeth II is queen of many other firsts. Her coronation ceremony in 1953, watched by a record 27 million people in the UK alone, was the first to be broadcast on television.
I here present unto you Queen Elizabeth, your undoubted queen.
Those famous royal walkabouts? Her Majesty started the tradition of greeting the public in 1970 during a tour in Sydney. The most traveled of any of her British predecessors, the Queen has visited over 100 countries on behalf of the Crown.
The arrival of Queen Elizabeth of England to begin a state visit to West Germany,
including the first state visit to then West Germany in 1965. 21 years later, widely seen as one of her most historic tours, a critical act of diplomacy at the time, she became the first British monarch to visit China in 1986. And the first to address the U.S. Congress in 1991.
Force in the end is sterile. We have gone a better way. Our societies rest on mutual agreement, on contract, and on consensus.
Another historic first came in May of 2011, the first state visit to the Republic of Ireland by a British monarch in 100 years. It was the first time a reigning monarch traveled to the Emerald Isle since its separation from the United Kingdom.
That moment when she came off the aeroplane in Ireland, the Republic, and came down the steps dressed in St. Patrick's blue, and later on lowered her head at the memorial to those who had sought Republican success and who had fought for it. That was significant. And I think the Queen was trying to create an environment for an improvement in relations.
To all those who have suffered as a consequence of our troubled past, I extend my sincere thoughts and deep sympathy. With the benefit of historical hindsight, we can all see things which we would wish had been done differently, or not at all.
And joining me now is ABC News royalty consultant Alistair Bruce. Thank you so much for being with us. As we just saw in the piece, the Queen is no stranger to making history. There are so many incredible moments. Do you have one that stands out to you above the rest?
Well, I think throughout her life, she's always managed to bring the rain. I mean, long to reign over us. And I think you and I are enjoying that right now.
Are we enjoying it?
Well, in our own way. But I think for the Queen, right from, if you look at the breadth of her life, starting pretty much during the Second World War, and now we're in a very difficult time in Europe again, and yet her career has passed through all these great moments of British history and world history. And I think her association, remembering that she saw her father and mother go in 1939 to visit the President of the United States, that relationship with the United States has been very important to the Queen. And I think that she has always tried to make sure that whatever's happening in history, that she is able to come at that moment and provide the soft power that the United Kingdom most likes her to deliver. And she is, after all, not just Queen of the United Kingdom, but of many countries around the world, not least Canada. And also she's head of a Commonwealth of nations that have so many great moments of history that she can really live herself.
But in this modern world, I'm curious how she has managed to stay relevant for 70 years.
I think by just being herself, and she's never done anything for herself. She has tried to just quietly serve the institution and deliver that stability. It's as though she's the deep keel at the base of the ship of state as it makes its way through pretty treacherous and difficult waters, and certainly stormy times. And, you know, throughout our lives, Amy, you know, she's been there, she's been a constant. And whereas many countries have heads of state who are political leaders, because she isn't political and she sits in this special place, she can be, as it were, the continuity of history for us all.
And Alistair, I know you've personally met the Queen. What's she like?
Extremely kind, very interested, jolly good mimic. not necessarily of me, but she has a great way of putting people at their ease. And perhaps because she's a little bit shy, she very often uses her dogs or her love of horses to act as a connection between people who are a little bit nervous. She very often, particularly when she used to live here all the time, you'd know she was coming because through the door before she appeared would come a few corgis. And that always breaks the ice.
We mentioned she's in Balmoral right now, resting up pre-Jubilee. How is she going to just experience all of this? Is this something that she relishes? You said she's a little shy. Does she enjoy this type of pomp and circumstance?
The Queen knows that in order for the United Kingdom to mark great moments of history, we don't have a national day. So we as a nation tend to live it through her or through the monarch of the time. So she accepts that because she's been around for 70 years as our sovereign, she is being celebrated. But I don't think she sees it about herself. I think she sees it about the nation, about the continuity that she represents. And she knows that when her time is past, the institution that she's nurtured for 70 years will carry on, and it will carry on serving in whatever way the British public want.
Well, Alistair Bruce, we certainly appreciate all that insight. We can't wait. And
I
hey,
can't wait either.
Look, I think it stopped.
It stopped.
It almost stopped raining. Almost.
I'll probably blow away like Mary Poppins.
I know. I almost did a few minutes ago. Back to you guys.
She rains on. All right, Amy, thank you.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.